Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Daddy's Barbecue Pit. This week we're going to show you how we make our homemade Italian sausage. Stick around. Okay, we're going to start by trimming out. This is about a 9-pound pork butt, and we're going to leave a lot of this fat on. I'll trim out anything I see that won't grind or could be less desirable. You don't want into the sausage piece right here. Just set that off to the side. You can see it was kind of. So we're just going to go ahead and cut this how I do it. There's probably 100 different ways to do it. Cut it in slices, small enough that they're going to fit down into what grinder you have. Like that's usually pretty good. That'll fit down ours. And you just want to keep that up until you got this whole pork shoulder completely deboned. Today we're going to make about probably 25 pounds of Italian sausage and probably about 20 pounds of kielbasa that we will smoke probably tomorrow. Here it sits overnight. Have that blade bone in there, you just want to go around it. There's your blade bone. There's a little bit more meat on here, but we got her pretty close. Not going to go crazy with it. We got one butt trimmed out. Got several more here to do, of course. And then we're going to take you to the next step, which will be the grinding. We like to grind. Okay, we have it's about 18.5 pounds of pork chopped up here that we put into the refrigerator to get cold again. We want to make sure everything's cold. We have our grinder set up with the coarse grinding plate, and this was all in the freezer so it stays cold. We're going to do a coarse grind first, put our seasoning on it, and then run it back through again with our fine grinder plate. Okay, so we have our lug here full of ground up pork. This is our coarse grind. The first thing we're going to add to this mixture is a half a cup of white wine vinegar. You can use red wine as well, vinegar to it. A quarter cup of salt, and this is a quarter cup with 3 tablespoons of salt. You're going to add a quarter cup of black pepper, and this also has 3 extra tablespoons of black pepper in it. So it's a quarter cup plus 3 tablespoons. A half a cup of fresh parsley. A quarter cup plus 3 tablespoons of garlic powder. A quarter cup plus 3 tablespoons of onion powder. And a quarter cup plus 3 tablespoons of basil. A quarter cup of paprika. Okay, we have 3/4 of a tablespoon of oregano, 2 teaspoons of red pepper flakes. We have 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of sage. Yeah, this is a teaspoon and a half of fennel, 2 teaspoons of thyme, and 2 teaspoons of rosemary. Okay, so we have all of our seasonings in there. Now we're just going to go ahead and start our mixing. And we're just going to do this by hand, this first go around. And we're going to grind this again so it will mix real thoroughly when we run it through our fine grinder plate. You just want to keep folding it into itself. The more you work this ground meat, the warmer it will get. So we will put this back in the fridge to cool down a little more before our next grind. That way it goes through our grinder a little bit easier. Okay, so we have our pork cooled down. We got our smaller plate in here, grinding plate, and we're going to go ahead and it's all seasoned up. We're going to run it through for the second grind. You ready, buddy?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, we got our second grind done. Boom. We got our casing cleaned out. We're going to show you how to do that here in a minute. We've hit our horn here with a little bit of silicone spray and the inside of our stuffer. So we're just going to pull this back. This particular stuffer holds about 15 pounds of meat. We're going to want to get it in there nice and tight, get it started first. Kind of squeeze it down, push it down. So we got our natural hog casing here started over the front of this horn, and we're just going to pull it all the way on. Try to keep this as wet as possible. So there. So now we're going to start cranking our handle down on this, and we just want to get it to where the meat is just starting to come out of the front of the horn, and you'll hear it start pushing some air out, and I can hear it coming through there. So we're at the end. We're going to pull our casing back down over, tie a quick knot there. Pull that back on tight. So we want to try to keep a little bit of pressure on this horn as our sausage is coming out. You don't want to overstuff them because we are going to link these. Your handle on your stuffer moving nice and even. Coming at the end of this one, you want to stop probably right about there and back off on your stuffer. You'll pull this out tight. And tie a knot in that. And then we'll move on to our next one, and once we're done with all of them, we'll start putting them in about 6-inch lengths, and we'll show you how to do that. So you got to rinse out these casings come packed in salt. So we're just running water down through them. Make sure we get any of that excess salt out of there. They've been sitting in this water for about an hour, so chances are most of it has leached out of it already, but we just want to be certain. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and link these sausages. Sometimes we leave some of this fresh that we can, use in meatballs or spaghetti sauce or whatever, even tacos. But usually I go the length of one hand. So from this edge to my thumb is how I like to link it. And you can spin it away from you. The first sausage, then come up to the next one. You just need to do it 3 or 4 times. Measure it out again. And give it a little bit of a squeeze. And then you can come back. Like so. And then this one again. Measure it out. And we want to go forward. You just want to keep doing that until you're completely done with this entire link. And there's a lot of different ways you can do these. You could eat these on sandwiches. You could put them in a sauce recipe. Italian sausage is really good. We enjoy it with some peppers and onions fried up. So it never fails. You usually end up with one that's a little bit smaller, and that's okay. It'll all cook up the same. One of the last steps we do is we have this tool that we prick them with. Lets out some of that air around the casing. We're going to cover these up tonight in our refrigerator with just some cellophane over them, saran wrap over them real lightly. And we're going to let these bloom and let all the flavors get inside that meat. And then we will wrap them up or put them in vacuum seal bags. And you can share them with your family or friends or your neighbors. But we hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for following us on all the social media sites. Give this recipe a try. It's real simple to do at home. You can see you can have a few pieces of equipment. It's easy to do. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next week. Get you some. Get you some.